Hey everyone, it's Stu from StuTech, and welcome to Work It Wednesday. This is my weekly series where I shine a spotlight on an amazing business. So each week, I'm going to introduce you to someone I feel is special and just an amazing person. So this week, I'm excited to introduce to you my very good friend, Christopher Holmes from Scottsdale Mortgage Advisors. And yes, he is one of my cigar buddies. His company is doing incredible work in the residential mortgage business. Christopher and I had a great conversation about his journey, the people, SMA services, and his heart behind it all. So come on, let's check out what we had to talk about.
Let's see here. My name is Christopher Holmes. I own Scottsdale Mortgage Advisors. I have been in the mortgage business now for 34 years. I joke that when I started in the business, I had hair, and I've given it all to the industry over the last 34 years, although I love what I do, and I wouldn't ask for any of it back as a result. The clients I serve are residential buyers of real estate, whether it's a purchase or a refinance, could be a home equity line of credit, or maybe it's because of my age at this point, but a reverse mortgage has become more and more popular. So what I do is service clients, helping them achieve the goal of home ownership, that American dream.
So what inspired you to start this business?
After 30 years in the business, COVID hit, and up until then, we weren't allowed to have an office from home. COVID sent us all home, and I'd always wanted to open my own mortgage company to be able to do business the way I've always wanted to do it. I have what I call my secret sauce, which is how we do things quite a bit differently than how the industry does it to better serve our clients. And that opportunity to do it the way I want, I think like most small business owners, you work for other companies. I've worked for Wells, I've worked for Chase and other large mortgage banks throughout the years. They never did it the way I thought would be a better way to do it. And that's what I get to do now with my own business.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice about this business, what would it be?
I think it would be that when I heard my parents say that it's not what you know, it's who you know, I didn't believe it as much as I know it to be true now. That the relationships that I've established over this 34-year career is what's kept me in business for the last 34 years. Not just the clients, but also the realtors, the financial advisors, the CPAs, the attorneys who trust me with their clients to do right by them are absolutely critical to keeping the business running profitably, successfully over time. So it's relationships. It's always about the relationships.
All right, here's a fun question I like to ask people. What's the weirdest, funniest, or most unexpected thing that's ever happened in your business?
Well, realizing that my business is mortgages, helping people typically buy a home or refinance it or pull equity out of the house. I think the strangest thing that's happened, completely unexpected, and it's a little morbid, is that we had a buyer pass away after they signed the loan documents to purchase a home. We signed loan documents a couple of days before the actual close of escrow, and in that time period, the wife called me and said her husband had a heart attack and passed away. Could she get out of the transaction? And we had to figure out if there was a way to do that, and as it turned out, there wasn't. So the transaction was completed, and they purchased the home, and I would say that's probably the weirdest thing that's happened to me in my 34-year career.
One more question from me. What is one tip or piece of advice you'd give someone trying to grow their business today or just navigate daily life with confidence?
I would say it has to do with being prepared. One of my favorite sayings is control the things that you can control so you have the time and the energy to manage the things that you can't. And in business, there are so many uncontrollables that we tend to get caught up in those. And had we managed the things that we can control, we find we have more bandwidth, more time, energy, and emotion to handle the things better that we can't control. So that's probably my best advice.
So I'm done with my questions, but here's a question that I ask all my interviewees. Give me one question that you wish somebody else would ask you, but has never asked. And you came up with, tell us about your secret sauce.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to let you hit that one.
My wife and I are a bit of a foodies, and we love to cook. And somebody asked me once, what's your value proposition? What do you guys do differently at Scottsdale Mortgage Advisors than most companies? And I said, you know what? We have a secret sauce to the way we do business. And that sauce has three ingredients. The first ingredient is that every borrower gets a 45-minute mortgage planning session face to face. We do it on Zoom now with technology, where they're going to get to see on the screen exactly how much they qualify for, why they qualify for it, what their credit looks like, give some advice on what we can do to get the credit scores up a little bit so that they're completely educated about what their loan options are and how a loan might work for them. That's number one. The second ingredient is that because of the way we run the business, very lean, which allows us to keep our interest rates below the market rate. So we're typically an eighth to a quarter% lower than the market. So that's the second ingredient, is that we have below market pricing. And then the third ingredient, which not everybody understands the value of until we get to that point, is that every borrower that we work with, we have prepared to close their purchase in 10 days. And the value of being able to close in 10 days allows them to be in a better position to negotiate with a seller. And what we're finding is sellers who know that they're going to get their money in 10 days instead of having to wait 30 days are willing to concede more on the price, concede more in closing costs or other concessions on behalf of the buyer to make the deal sweeter for the buyer. So our secret sauce consists of those three ingredients, and it's worked really well for us.
I'd like to thank my good friend Christopher Holmes from Scottsdale Mortgage Advisors for being my guest today on Work It Wednesday. I recommend that if you're looking for a mortgage, want to refi your current mortgage, want to do a reverse mortgage, especially to those seniors who are in our audience, give Christopher a call. He's trustworthy. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and he has some really great stories. So until next time, this is Stu from StuTech on Work It Wednesday saying have a great day.